Welcome to our news report. We are Team 7F and we are presenting a short review of what we did this year. Now, over to Bianca and Grosia to talk about globalization.
Thank you, Stephanie. Nowadays, globalization is becoming increasingly important, creating an enhanced network among countries. And the question that must be asked is all of this truly beneficial? And researchers actually believe that actually is not. First of all, globalization creates big multinational organizations with an immense power, and they will try to expand this power as much as they can. That's why, for instance, we can find McDonald's everywhere nowadays. Moreover, this leads to a standardization which will inevitably eliminate all the typical characteristics of each country, destroying their culture. Another thing is that multinational organizations are more likely to move their sites into countries where workforce is cheaper and less subject to legislation, arising ethical problems and also creating job losses. Another important issue is the environmental damage, as higher demand and bigger factories require larger production and an increasing energy need. In order to achieve so, more fuel is used, increasing pollution and overusing the scarce natural resources. So now we can just pass it to Gosha so she can illustrate the positive aspects of globalization.
Globalization is a process of deeper economic integration between countries and regions in the world. Globalization can create new opportunities, new ideas, and open new markets that an entrepreneur may have not had in their home country. As a result, there are a number of positives associated with globalization. Firstly, it creates greater opportunities for firms in less industrialized countries to tap into more and larger markets around the world. This can lead to more access to capital flows, technology, human capital, cheaper imports, and larger export markets. It also allows businesses in less industrialized countries to become part of international production networks and supply chains that are the main conduits of trade.
Thank you, ladies. Now let's see what Sophie and Pam will tell us about ethics and corporate social responsibility.
Corporate social responsibility is the idea that corporations take both responsibility for and analyse the effect that the company has on social issues such as environmental wellbeing and social wellbeing. It's largely assumed that in modern businesses, one of the reasons companies apply for such focus on CSR is due to the reward of strong PR, which contributes towards the attraction of customers. Consumers, shareholders and neighbour companies have no interest in being associated with companies that are linked to unethical behaviour. So it's really important for companies to have a focus on CSR. As Time magazine once stated, companies care about CSR because their customers do. Customers now more than ever take ethical behaviour into consideration when determining which companies they wish to associate themselves with. Now over to Sophie to describe some more.
Thank you, Pam. Whilst ethical behaviour has undoubtedly emerged as a trend in the corporate world, there's debate over whether it has become standard practice and an expectation of organisations. It can be argued that the emergence of CSR policies throughout the corporate world on such a large scale has in fact caused the creation of such expectations of industries. Over time, consumers have witnessed numerous multinational companies such as IKEA and Starbucks place their CSR policies at the forefront of their media campaigns, contributing towards the creation of the idea that all corporations should now carry out such work. Starbucks have received a worldwide recognition for their strong and well-defined CSR policies, that they have genuinely benefited society in the process.
Thanks, Pam. Now over to Veronica and Daniel to talk about financial crisis.
The financial crisis in 2008 had very dramatic effects, and a sector in which it had a large impact on was house and stock values. According to figures gathered by Nationwide, the average household price in the UK increased from £75,000 at the end of December 1999 to just over £182,000 at the end of December 2007. Stock values were also seen to decline as a consequence of the financial crisis. The financial crisis in fact caused a stock market crash in the US, where the stock market lost 10% in a day or two. An effect of the financial crisis in 2008 was a rapid and significant increase in unemployment and job loss, especially in developed countries. During the financial crisis, the percentage of job loss increased dramatically by 35% above the level of unemployment in 2007 in Europe. People working in the real estate industry faced it directly, as the decline in demand of estate led to direct loss of income. A consequence of this increase in employment was an increase in the number of suicides that took place during this period of time among people in the working age population, as suicides increased in 2009 with at least 5%. Not only did the financial crisis affect developed countries, but it also had a toll on developing countries. One of the effects on developing countries was the decline in exports.
Thanks, Veronica. Now going on to look at the causes of the financial crisis. There's debate to the extent to which management during the 2007-8 financial crisis contributed towards and to an extent caused the financial crisis. By 2008, managers had developed a certain level of confidence and become fairly comfortable within the financial market. In what can almost be described as throwing caution to the wind, managers rapidly began pursuing expansion, focusing solely on building and expanding their businesses. This ranged from investing large amounts in premises and equipment to massively overborrowing money. The desire to expand, it can be argued, was driven by the fact that the market at this time had become increasingly competitive and companies became obsessed with leveraging themselves to the competitors in the market. Managers looking to expand borrowed much larger sums than they should have, in many cases amounts that exceeded their business's profitability, to then carry out over expensive acquisitions of other businesses with the goal of immediate and instantaneous expansion. Managers executed acquisitions of companies at prices much higher than they should have, and it can be argued that whilst banks were in fact over-lending at this time, businesses and managers did not need to overborrow. In the process of such overborrowing, managers once again, in part due to overconfidence in the market, locked themselves into longer-term debt. Ignoring the idea that prices and the markets go up and down, managers pushed banks to lend them money on longer 7-year loans, alongside demanding lower prices on banking transactions and the use of interest-free loans. It was following the market's collapse that this confidence was lost and the crisis began.
This is all from us. Thank you for watching and see you soon.